Okay, I'm back. I ran it through my Big Shot, my Gemini actually. I'm not always too fussy to run it because it runs harder, but I did enjoy running it through my Big Shot usually. This time here to go quicker I did, and it cut through just the same, but I had to run it 3 times through in order, and with just a piece of cardstock on top as a shim. So this is what I came with. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So I take off the Post-it note. The Post-it note I bought on Amazon. I'm not sure if Sandy has any, but I bought these anyway on Amazon. So this is the only place I could find it at the time. I never thought of asking her, but anyway. So for something different, I chose a different layer of framelits. These are from Spellbinders, and they're frame, square, wavy, whatever. This is what it's called, and they're by Spellbinders. I've had them for quite a few years, but I do believe they still have them. So this is what we end up with. This is what I mean. You end up with a nice thick frame. Now, if you were really fussy and you really wanted a second layer, this is how thick a second layer would be. Now, I don't think you need that, but again, I'm not you, and we all craft in different ways. So this is how it ends up, and I normally take my cardstock. This would be my card, and you can do this on a card front if you wanted to. But in that particular case there, I did it, in this particular case here, I did it directly on the card. And all you do is, once it's folded, I did exactly the same thing. I took my smaller size, okay, so I have this size, and 2 down is what I did for this piece here, okay? So I had this piece and this piece inside. Now, to cut into my card, whether it be a front or the card, I take the smaller piece. So this is my smaller piece here, and I add it wherever I want it, because I don't necessarily have to have it right in the center, as long as it's straight and it works. So, bear with me. I'm going to run this through my Big Shot, my Gemini, and I will show you what I mean. This is, I always save my tape for another piece. Gotta be conscious of that. And now, if you can tell, I have a hole. This is going to fit exactly on top. Exactly. And you are going to have a shaker card. Now, you can do it 2 ways. You can put it on the back side, like I did on this card that I just made, and that'll work, because when you close it, you can put your acetate. So I'm going to continue making this card by showing you what I mean by that. I took a piece of acetate, and I cut it approximately to size. And then, whoops, I cut 2 pieces. And then all I did here in order to add it on is I added just some regular tape. Okay, so I'm adding tape all the way around the perimeter of the cut. And I'm not too worried about this. I'll fix this up. Okay? Brand new roll of tape, and that's why it's stuck. So I have all of this here, and I'm going to grab my acetate. This is my acetate here, and I'm just going to sit it on top, like this. Now that seals the acetate to the front of the card, like that. Now I'm going to take this, which we just cut out. I just cut out on my Gemini, and now that's all full of adhesive. So I'm going to line that up. Excuse my head, guys. I just need to make sure that it's lined up properly. Which is a little bit more difficult when you're working away away from your body. But this is my cutaway, okay? Right there. So now what I want to do is I'm going to cut the outside size. That can be cut on just about anything that you want. You could cut it on cardstock, you could cut it on whatever. It doesn't really matter. That is going to be the back side, as long as it's not purple or anything like that, because it's not going to match. Yes, that'll work. That will work. That'll cover it all up. That's perfect. Let me move on with this. I'm going to cut a piece of this, and we are going to add this to the front. All right, so I have a piece right here that I cut out with the bigger piece. So if you're still following me, this is what I cut out of the foam. And this piece here, nope, this piece here is what I cut in the middle here. That cut out that particular part. You can remember that. Then straight. And then I took the larger piece and I cut out another piece. And what that's going to do, this is going to seal the card, the back part. So, let me show you. Let me show you how. I'm going to grab myself some sequins here or something. Let's say I'm going to add some sequins. Those I added tiny ones, but I'm going to add some sequins to show you. And then with this part here, you can do whatever you want. I used, to adhere this to the foam, I used my Fabri-Tac. You could use whatever you want, as long as it stays. You could use tape. I just find this, for me right now, it seems to be my go-to, because it doesn't take long to dry, and it seals right up. Let me show you how. Okay, so this is sealed. It makes a nice front of the card there, and make sure you don't have any glue on your fingers. And I have myself a shaker card. Now what you could do if you wanted to is what I did with this piece here. I just cut out a front. You could cut out any front. Let's say for sake, let me grab a pink one here. These are pieces that I embossed with 3D embossers, with my 3D emboss. And all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cut it. Now, I prefer to cut it and then put it to size, because then because this is bigger than that, and if my die moves here, I don't have to worry about having ruined a piece or whatever. So I'm just going to take that and add this approximately. You know, I'm not going to add it over here because I know it won't work. And I'm going to run that again through my Gemini here. It's off camera, but it's sitting right next to me. I always have it next to me because I'm always reaching for it. That's perfect. So now I have this piece cut out. I have a little piece of gem here that I can use for later. Keep the tape. And I can set this, and it fits perfectly over that piece. Now what I did with this one is I took another piece of foil that wasn't embossed, and I added it to the bottom. So if you really wanted to, you could have done the same here. Added a piece to the bottom, and then the shimmer of the foil or the metallic piece here, cardstock, would have matched with this. Now, at this point, there may be an easier way, but what I did is I took it, brought it over to the side, and I just took a pencil and gave me a good idea. My little Fiskar desktop here. Now, I know this will give me the size of the card, but that's not, that'll only straighten it out for me right here, like that. And what I did is I took out about 1/4 of an inch on each side. And for me, I just eyeballed it, but it's up to you if you're more precise. Oops. If you want to be more precise, just fill your boots, as they say. I'm kind of using this part here, actually. I'm eyeballing it to start, and then I kind of go with the flow. So that's easy enough. This is a little Fiskar that I picked up, and it's not like Tim Holtz. It doesn't go 6 inches or so. It just goes to 4 inches. But I really like it. It's really handy. I don't have to take my big piece off. So now I have myself a piece that's going to fit properly over here. Like that. So I'm going to take, I'd like to have it a little bit lifted. So this is what I do. Now, the other one I glued right on the top of the cardstock. This one here, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a lift, as they say, just because I can. And this here is not going to look, it definitely doesn't stick out like the foam does when you're trying to layer it. I find it's a little difficult. This here works perfectly fine like that. And I'm just going to add a bit here. That one, just to tone down the edges. There, we got her. If I wanted to, I could have used some more foam, I suppose, but the purpose of me showing you that foam was to do that. I could have added a strip all the way around, because it only has adhesive on one side, but then I could have glued it with some wet glue if I wanted to. Depends on what you want to do. You always start with a clean desk, but man oh man, not quite clean when you're done. Full of static here. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could have cut it on the larger scale. And what would have happened then is I would have ended up having a beige border, and then I would have had this piece cut out. But I preferred to have it this way. Now, all I did after that, I have myself a shaker card. It looks fine from this part. It looks clean on the inside. There's not an issue there. So then all I did was I took, these are pieces that I purchased from Sandy, from our craft group. And these are Tim Holtz. I absolutely love them. I don't know why I haven't had this beforehand. And all I did was like add a sentiment, because I don't know where I'm going to put this card or who's going to receive it. So I ended up, like I did on this card, I just put Adventure Awaits. This is a mail card. So I could use it as a graduation card. I could use it as a birthday card, because inside I left it blank. So it could be happy birthday to you. It could be under the sea. You know, it could be inside a vessel. So all I did was add, and I just added tape to the bottom, and I added a piece of rope. Rope is something you can find. This is a jute rope, kind of a twine jute rope, and I added it around the bottom end here, and I ended up with a card. So the purpose for me here was to show you how to do a shaker card without having to add a lot of tape and try to even everything out together and make it look good. Because if you need a white piece, you can have a white piece. It's not going to show. See how it doesn't show on the side there? It's because I used a piece that matches with this piece of paper. If I think I would have probably put a color inside, and before this is done, it'll be a lot more dressed up than that. I'll do it for a female. Now, another way you can do it, if you wanted to double the depth, in other words, higher, like I showed you, this would be the height. This is 2 layers of this, and all I did here was for a circle. That would work. Another way it would work, guys, it takes a little bit more work, but it would still work. You could take, I counted them, it took me 10 pieces of cardstock in order to layer it. I did a card a while back. It's gone now, but it took me 10 pieces of cardstock, gluing them together, in order to be able to stack up enough to make this. Actually, it was this thick. So if you want to save yourself some work, although it'll work, and it's a good way to use up your leftover cardstock, I would tell you that this is the better way to go. So this is Yvonne, again, and just a tutorial to show you how to make a shaker card that will shake everywhere, but not outside the card. So this will shake everywhere as you want to add it. And here I have bigger shakers than I do there. This I just had miniature stars. And here, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I am going to add some more. I might cut a piece of cardstock to match and lay it on top to give it a frame. And I'm not quite sure. I might add a flower or two because this is going to go probably for a girl. And it's as easy as that. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope the glare hasn't driven you crazy too much. But this is Yvonne, and I'm going to sign off for now, guys. But I will be back, and if you have any questions or any concerns about anything, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm always there to help you guys out, and if I don't have the answer, you can be guaranteed I'll be looking it up. Have a great crafting day, guys, and most importantly, be happy. We'll be back.